Hi, Gullies here for the Lilypad. Today I'm going to be talking about how to create some effects using your dodge and burn tool. I will be using the Mixed Media Monthly June 2015 from the Lilypad. This is my original element that I am going to be working with. It is a piece of textile cut into circles. This technique is good that I'm going to be showing you is really good for paper elements, textiles, stickers, anything that is more like flat and you're trying to like give it a curl or a bend. It's really a fold or a bend better than a curl. First things first, I like to create extra layers where I will be making my changes instead of harming or changing my original element. So in this case, first thing that I would do is I would create a brand new layer by clicking here, create new layer. And then I will do, I'm in an Apple machine, but in a regular PC, I think it's Control. In my case, it's Command. Oh, first, still my layer that I just created is my active layer. So then now I'm going to click Command, and I'm going to click here on the thumbnail, not on the name of the layer, but on the thumbnail of the element that you will be transforming. And that's going to give you marching ants around your element. Then in my Apple, it would be Shift F5, or you could go to Edit, Fill. And from here in the contents, you want to select 50% gray. Not foreground or background, just 50% gray. And you want to uncheck your preserve transparency. You want to make sure also that your opacity is at 100%. We're going to click OK. And it's going to create a brand new layer that now has two, in my case, two circles. In your case, could be any element that is just grayed out. I'm going to do Command D or Control D to deselect the marching ants. Now I'm going to go here in the blending modes and I'm going to change it from normal to linear light. As soon as I do that, it's going to be like that layer never existed. So if you close here the visibility and I turn it off, you can't even notice the difference. You really can't. So now, again, I'm still active in this layer that I just created. I am going to go over here and I am going to look for my dodge tool. My dodge tool, I'm going to click here, keep it pressed. Dodge tool is this guy over here, or it's the letter O. And my dodge tool right now is super huge at a 90 pixel. I like to use a soft brush, a round soft brush. In this case, I'm gonna go pretty small. I think 20 might be good, maybe, or you could do 25. I'm gonna pick a place where I'm gonna do where my fold is gonna be. I usually go from top to bottom or bottom to top, or from side to side, not diagonal. The only reason I don't do diagonal ones, it's because I like pressing my shift key and dragging my mouse, and that will give me a super perfect straight line. And then if I wanted to look diagonal, I would just, when I finish my entire process, I would just rotate the element. I find that easy for me. So again, press the shift key, and then now you're gonna drag a line. This guys, don't release the shift key. See, is that good enough? I would say that I would go a little bit higher because right now my exposure is just 15. So I'm gonna do Control C to remove it. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go to something like maybe a 40%. And again, shift key, drag it around. That looks pretty good. Still keep your shift key pressed in case you say, you know what, maybe I want a second one. Is that the look that you want? Maybe it is, maybe not. But the reason I keep my shift pressed is because keeping my shift press will will keep my mouse in that same line that I created the first time. In my opinion, that's a little too hard, so I'm gonna do Control C. So I went down one step down. I think this is good. This would be my first step. Create that Dutch line, that first Dutch line. And let me show you. This is what I created here. See, just a Dutch line. That's all it is. In my case, I like to create another new layer and create. So in this case, I'm gonna turn the one that I made. It's right there. But now I'm gonna create another layer. I'm gonna do exactly the same thing. Command and press the thumbnail. And as soon as you do Command, press the thumbnail, you have your area selected. You then do Shift F5 in my case, and I click OK. It's gonna color them in gray. Then I'm going over here and says I'm gonna change it to linear line, and I'm gonna do Command D to deselect. My next step is to try to blend this harsh Dutch line that I just created. So I'm still on my Dutch line. I'm gonna go from 40%, I'm gonna go down to like a 15% on my exposure. And then I'm gonna make my brush bigger. How big? Well, I usually like to be as big as that I would go from one side to the other and cover the entire piece that I want to look like it's elevated. In this case, usually since the smaller piece is the one that I elevate because it weights less, so it's most likely the one that's going to be sticking up. So I'm going to again shift, press, and drag my mouse. And this is very subtle. Did you see how subtle that is? That's on, this is before, this is after. That's all I want. It's that little bit. Again, I'm going to create a new layer. I am going to click Command, click on my thumbnail, do Shift F5 to fill with 50%, click OK, change my blending to linear light. Now Command D to deselect. Now I'm going to do some burning. So I'm going to go here, select the burn tool. I am going to you can go 2 to 3 times bigger, as wide as the first initial Dutch line that you created. So I'm going to go right here. Oh, one tip I forgot to mention. If you want to go really change the size of your brush pretty fast instead of going here and having to change it here, you can use your square brackets. Your left square bracket will make your brush smaller. Your right square bracket will make your brush bigger. So now again, press that Shift key, and I'm going to go down one time. And you see, I kind of like that, but you know what? I think I need a little bit more blending here, so I'm going to make my brush a tiny bit bigger. I'm going to go down to the exposure to maybe an 8. I'm going to try to blend a little bit there. And you see how it just blends a little bit more. You can see the burn that you created at the beginning. Now I'm going to go pretty small on my brush. And what I want is to create a tiny bit. It's like about a half to a third of that first Dutch line. I'm going to be right above my Dutch line. Press the Shift key and you're just going to go one time. And that's going to give an extra burn that is going to look like it's folded. It's like it's folded at that press. Like at this moment it looks like it's just folded and maybe a little bit gap of air it's in there in between my sticker. So that would be my final look. I could say, yeah, you know what, maybe I want to go again and do one a little bit deeper there. Maybe say, you know what, I want one deeper here so it looks like it's a straight pin that went in. Did you see that? So you can play around with this. So for this technique this week, this is what I want you to do. I want you to fold or bend, or looks like a little gap of air is in there. You could also use this in like looking like it's sticking a pin through it. So this is like over a pin or over a clip. So this could be also your technique to do that. I wanted to show you another example. So I'm gonna hide everything in here, and then I'm gonna show you example number 2 that I created, which is one of the hearts in the kit. I did the same thing going from top to bottom, but then I also manipulated the shadow. So here it's flat against the paper, and here it's like it's coming up from the paper, same as here. So play with your shadows after you do this technique to really show up what you really want to demonstrate in your page, and have fun. Have a great time with this project.